Good evening, Candid Culture. I'm Crystal Annette.
Hey, Queens, I'm Misha Allen. Thank y'all for joining us.
Yes,
And yes,
let's get into yes, thank you for joining Crystal and Misha do reality reviews. Let's get into this. Whew, y'all. Please tell us what you think of this show. This episode was interesting. I was gonna say it's crazy, but
I was annoyed. I'll just start there.
I
I
was
was
annoyed.
annoyed
I
with
think
this whole brown girl tribe, whatever they call
yes.
themselves.
I don't know what out of Brown Skin Coalition. I don't know what it was. What was it? Just Brown Girl Crew? I don't know. Let me start share the screen. My screen share is working today. Last week it was I had a conversation with Chrome. So Chrome and I are in good speaking well. So Misha started with this picture. I wanted her to start. I was hoping that she would start with the Brown Girl Crew, but like she started with this one. So go ahead, start. What do you think? I know what I'm about to say. Go ahead.
I this is the scene we find out that Sabrina was a stripper.
Yes.
And it really caught me off guard. It's weird. It's like I never would have thought that, but now that she said it, I could see it, if that makes sense. But I don't think she was like in no hole in the wall. I think she was one of those like high end strippers, almost like an escort. They just like go to dinner with rich men or go like party with rich men. Like if you saw that movie Hustlers with Jennifer Lopez, like she looks like one of them strippers. Like she takes him to the little champagne room for a private dance, gets her little, not little, but her couple $1,000 and goes home for the night. Like I could totally see that for her, especially with her height, her look. I'm like, I see it. 10 years is a long time. I could see why what is that man's name? Walter would think that's a red flag. But it's interesting. She doesn't seem like, if we go back to Kai from Put a Ring on It, you saw stripper because she had like a stripper's mentality, the way she talked, the way she moved. You can tell. With Sabrina, I don't get that. So I kind of sort of see Walter's point, but at the same time, I don't think she necessarily has that stripper's mindset still, if that makes sense.
I don't see Walter's point at all. Walter said he's for these streets after his wife passed away. He said what did he say? He's ex-hood, an ex-hood guy. He's been out here uh like doing a lot. He's been doing stuff. He cannot blame her. He cannot say anything's a red flag. This woman, she's five. What is she? At least 5'10". And she's got she's beautiful. That Sabrina is one of my favorites, and she's very much carries herself with class and style. And I see that she's the type that she doesn't need a man to like come um and approach her. She doesn't carry herself with an air of um insecurities. And I actually think that her conversation bodes for somebody that has been around the world, and I've seen a lot, I've done a lot, and I am well traveled, but I also know how to speak to heads of state or the next hood guy, next whatever around the corner. So Walter, he can't say that that's a red flag. I'm sorry. He may be in a certain place in his life now, but he was not always there. And look where she came from and now where she's at. This girl, she's got her own brand. She is making moves. She's taking care of not only a child, but family, everything. She's doing big stuff. And honestly, I I don't think that she has. You can't even say anybody has a hood look because I or a stripper look or a stripper personality or mentality because there's some people that were strippers, but that was just the job. That was a job that they did. And I remember
But
I was
that's what I that but like same mentality and meaning like it overtakes you. I'm not saying like certain strippers they have to have a certain stripper mentality to make money, to make the most money. So they'll come at you with that high vibe, like you want to be free, you want to go take this chance and go on this right. Like she doesn't have that. That's what I meant by mentality. Because some strippers do get taken over by the lifestyle.
true. Okay, so look at it like this. She was, and she, I feel like she just looked at it like a job. Like she was in it for 10 years, she said,
Mhm.
but I don't know if she left it 10, sounds like she left it 10 years ago. She probably was in it maybe during her 20s, saved her money knowing what she wanted to do, either build her brand or whatever, and now she's far past that lifestyle. Um, but to me, you don't know what a predator looks like. We don't know that the rapist could have be the businessman in corporate office. So I just feel like I appreciate that she said it to him. I just know that there are, and I know that, and I was watching Koda's show last night. There are so many layers to this thing that there could be the strippers and those like players club strippers, and then there's these women that are, they just look at it as a job. Like this is my job, and then I go home and take care of my family, or I go home and take care of, this is my job at night, and
Yeah.
then do that thing. I just, um, yeah, she did, and she may not have been an escort. She said she was a dancer, but she knew that she
No,
was.
I don't mean escort like doing stuff. Not that. I'm talking about escort like a public like you just escorting someone to dinner or to a party. Like they have women like that too in a sense where they'll just pay for your time as far as like they just want you to be seen out with you on their arm. I don't mean like she was doing something
She said she was a
behind
dancer,
closed doors. I don't mean nothing like that. But I she definitely has that model look where I could
though.
see that happening. But
I wanted to clear that up because she said dancer. She
Mhm.
definitely said dancer. She didn't say escort. And yeah, people get that confused where they think stripper and think that she was doing more for it. She might have been just stripping. She could have been just
Right.
stripping. I need to make this money. I do it from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. and I go home and and she might have been at FIDM or a design school in the daytime. You don't know, but like she's like, yeah, I did that and that's what I did. Like
But
Nene
Shani
Leakes,
said
Nene
we're
Leakes.
giving her a lot of grace, but there's not a lot of information to work with. Like, we don't know how long ago, we don't know where, we
Right.
don't like,
And
we don't know if it was a
she did
hole
say
in
for
the
10
wall.
years
Or,
though.
like,
You do say, but she did say it was for 10 years. So she did,
that's all we got.
that's an established, that wasn't like 4 years during college. So that's interesting too.
Right.
Okay, so let's get to the. Whew, oh, did I pass it? I passed it, y'all. I am sorry. This actually, this is very funny. That's just let me
That's
take.
me. That's me, y'all. I ain't catching no COVID while riding in the car with
Right,
y'all.
right. Okay, y'all. There was a lot to this car conversation. There was a lot going on in this car conversation. Not just the Brown Girl Squad, but then she said, "Are we're staying in the same room?" And then she got real mad when he didn't answer. She said, "Well, you didn't answer the question right." No, he didn't answer the question the way you wanted him to answer that question. Um, what did she say? What are your intentions with Camille? And he said, "Well, we're moving in the right direction." Oh no, we're together. We're getting married. We're da. And he said, "We're slow down. We're taking it one day at a time. We're taking it one day at a." She got so mad so quick. That's like, never mind. That's like a child. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You get mad so quick, and she wanted to poke her lip out and look out the window. Ooh, mm. There was so mad. There was so many layers to that. And she does a lot of talking. Like she did all the talking, all of the build. Like she has got them walking down the aisle and got two kids and the grandkid on the way already. And he's like, let me just drive to the resort. Can I just drive to the resort? Can we just get in the car and drive to the resort? Can we start there? So yeah, there was just so much. Um, that's where I'm just gonna leave it.
Like, I agree with Dante. I think that's the only thing I agree with that he ever said, but couldn't be me. Could
Mm-mm.
not be me. It's just so disgusting to see her and Zaria, how they kind of emasculate men and talk down. Like, he is not no little puppy dog, like, that you put on a leash and just, like, he's like, even a dog you got to treat with respect. But it's just like, why? I just did, it was just so annoying. Even we'll get to it when they get to the dinner table, and no, you need to go sit over there, and you need,
Oh,
and I'm
we'll get
like,
to that.
my
They're coming.
goodness. But even with Zadia in the next episode, we see she's all up in Dante's face, and I'm just like, it's just disgusting to see. You can't blame editing and a backstory, and there's stuff you didn't see. Well, what are, like, explain what we're actually seeing then, because what we're seeing doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just, and this brown girl squad, I'm like, so y'all left, how y'all a brown girl squad and y'all gonna leave one of the brown girls out? Like, Aisha's a brown girl too, so why she ain't in the
But
squad?
Aisha doesn't act the way they do, and they don't like it, and so she's not in the squad, so she's just eliminated from the squad. Yeah, and we'll get into the movement of it all in a minute, but these looks on her face, she's totally built this relationship up, and he's done nothing to validate her, and he doesn't care, and she doesn't care.
Like, don't be surprised if he just exit out the back door and don't say
Right,
nothing,
and drives away.
because
Keep going.
it doesn't make any sense. Even he gets on my last nerves with every confessional. Oh, you gonna get me in trouble. You gonna get me in. I was like, if you don't shut up.
Right, yeah.
Like,
Say what you mean. Be honest. Future said, "I know it's old school, but there's definitely some truth to men want love. I'm sorry, women want love, men want respect, and Camille gives him exactly no respect, none. Um, Women want love, but is Camille? So I feel like this relationship is one sided. Is Camille truly in love with him, or is she in love with the idea of him?
or the
So
control. Does she like the fact that
you
she
like
can control him?
that's what we're
Because
going
it's
to
like,
get
I
later.
really want to know, what do they both like about each other? Like, I guess we can get into the whole necklace ceremony later, but I'm just like, what are you talking about, these ups and downs and all you've been through? Because at this point, y'all barely should have known each other a week, if that. So I
Yeah,
don't know, child. It was on my,
it's
I was just cringing the whole night. Like, what is this?
and these faces, Camille, these faces.
Mm.
Okay, okay. Here is the zoo. The I already was about to call her Zoomin and not Moomin. Um,
Zoom in.
sorry, I made a mistake. So actually, the little part that I did see sounds like she has a very pretty voice. That was her first time actually singing. Um, and she's thought that she has created this. She said, "I don't care what's going on with Sabrina and Walter. All I care about is the connection between Walter and I." Excuse me. And Walter and I wrote this song together, and she starts singing this song, right? And yeah, it's cute. It's a cute song, but that's
Stupid.
it. That's it. Like I don't know. Does he look like? Does he act like he's her dad? Is there a real connection?
It was stupid. It's like, she is like, it's like she's saying, like, sometimes she seems very pick me, but at the same time, it's like she can pick up on what's going on. So why are you still there? When she kept saying, when she kept saying, I feel like I'm forcing. No, you are. You forced that little Jingle Bell song that y'all was singing. I was like, what are y'all? We made this song. Okay, most songs have more than 3 words. Y'all said the same. This is the right now, whatever the heck they were saying over and over. I was like, okay, is there a chorus? Is there an intro? Like where is this going? It was just so like I don't even think she realizes that moment was forced to, and she kind of got upset in the next photo we saw. But I was just like, okay, y'all had y'all little moment right here, but he has other connections, you have other connections. So why it was I high key feel like she was mad that he didn't sing the song in front of Sabrina so Sabrina can know they got a little Jingle Bell song and they got a little vibe going too. And I'm like, girl, don't nobody care. Sit down. Like,
But why didn't she? If that's the case, then why didn't she say, "Hey, let's sing our song now that we have more people around"? She,
because she was waiting on, she was giving him that Camille stare down. And then when it didn't happen the way she wanted, then she was pissed. But I'm like, you already had your moment at the piano. Why do you need to have it again when Sabrina's there? Like, y'all, like, do, like, I don't, like, me personally, if I was in this situation and I saw my interest was with another woman, I would go, I wouldn't want to be around that. And it was like, why? I don't know. It was annoying. It
so
was so
what I
annoying.
appreciate about this scene, one, Sabrina is not affected. Sabrina, she she knows who her connection is, and if they are don't have a connection, she's okay with that. Like she's here to have a good time, keep her connection with Walter. If things go great, then great. But what she is not going to do is be affected and get into the cattiness with um Moomin, Camille, and Zaria. Do that. But she is paying attention. So with Mr. Walter, and Walter even said, y'all funny," and he noticed her trying to come up behind behind him, and massage his neck, and she noticed all the catty behavior. He said, you're doing too much. Like, stop it. So Sabrina noticed it and Walter noticed it, but that's grown folks right there. Like these two people, they're like, I'm not going to do this in front of you. If you wanted to sing a song with me, then just let's sing and let's have a good time with the piano. But don't be coming up behind me while I'm sitting next to somebody else. She even said, "Do you need more room?" That's what Sabrina said. "Should I move over?" And he said, "No, you're fine. You're fine right here where you are." And he said, "No, don't move." The fact that he told her to sit right there, mm-mm. A woman is so cringe. Her discernment is in the toilet. Reminds me of
But
me. Oh, Kenya.
it's there. Her discernment is there. She don't listen to it. She has sat there and said, "I have to force everything. He's not like emotionally available or whatever she was saying." Like, yes, because he's for the streets.
Right.
And it's like she literally will sit there and say what's wrong, but still put like 100% towards what? Like, what are you? Whew, I'm sorry. She just really, oh my God. This episode between her and Zadia and Camille, I was just annoyed the whole episode.
I also think, and we'll get into it a little later because we're going to go to the scene with her and Walter. But I think that she's being ill affected by the Zadia and the Camille of it all.
It's
That's
rubbing off on her.
Yeah, it's rubbing off on her. You're not like them. You're not like Camille. That's not you. So stop acting like that. Stop. But
It's
yeah, so that's why she approached, and she basically, here it is right here. She basically talked to Walter the way Camille did to Cornelius a couple of episodes ago, just without the
yeah,
cussing and the mocking. Just
the
without saying
country
you're
bumpkin.
country bump, you're a country bump. Instead of doing that, She said, what did she say? You're being manipulated by somebody and your energy is off. Your energy's not the same. Just because he's not like sniffing behind you, just because he's not doing that, so his energy is off and he's being manipulated. This 45-year-old man that has been in the streets, he's very honest about he has been out there and has different types of women in different area codes. Now he's being manipulated. Um, Zaria, come on. That's gonna be my.
I'm
I'm
like,
gonna.
is she some type of spiritual doctor or whatever they call them? Because she's like, your energy is just so off, and your energy, I'm trying to get your energy back to where it was, and your energy. I'm like, girl, why is that your responsibility? Leave him and his energy alone. Go get him some B12 if his energy is low. But other than that, leave him alone. Like, why is that your responsibility? I'm just trying to get us back to where we were. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And why, like in Sabrina, the fact that she tried to bring Sabrina into it by saying Sabrina's manipulating him, and I'm like, how? I'm like, if the man don't like you, he just don't like you. And I think
Right.
that's what we're seeing. But Walter, I don't know if he has a little Cornelius in him where he has a little passiveness and he just don't want to hurt her feelings. I don't know, but he ain't into you. That's all it is. He ain't into you like that. Like, I forget what show it was on. Oh, with Tyrone and Carrie. When Carrie was texting Tyrone, you just don't like the girl. There was nothing wrong with her trying to ask you or get confirmation. You just don't like her. So I think with him, you like you're realizing the connection ain't really there, so now her walking by the piano, rubbing your neck is annoying. It would have been annoying to me too. But it's like, I think little things now are starting to annoy him because he's just not into her. So
I just, Chindi. I love Cindy. I just, I wasn't gonna say anything,
not
but I just
6 months. You
leave,
know what?
leave it up there for a minute.
I'm not playing with y'all.
But what really killed me when somebody you just said that somebody just said that was it you that just said that he's got a little Cornelius in him that just won't speak up, but what really affected, he just doesn't need to react, he just doesn't need to, like, these men, they don't like all of the yelling and screaming and the attitude, they don't like that attitude. But her walking away, he's like, I'm here. Okay, so you don't like how things are going, I'm here, let's talk, let's work it out, I'm here to talk to you. And she walked away. That, no,
Mhm.
that affected him too. And he said, okay, so
Yeah.
sitting here and she's still okay, she didn't like how things were going with me at the piano with Sabrina, now I'm here with you. So let's change the energy. Let's change the energy. Since my energy was off, let's change the energy. Let's change the energy. You
I was
know?
like, if she say energy one more time, I'm gonna throw my shoe at her head. Like if she don't
Okay, let's change the energy. Let's change the energy. And then,
it
this is what I love. So
was unbothered.
unbothered.
She could probably hear every word she was saying, and she was like, I don't care. I'm gonna sit in this pool.
I loved it. The unbothered of it all. She's like saying Zaria in her head. I'm sorry. She's unbothered. She's like, she can hear it. They're right there. She don't
Look at
care.
that body though.
I
I was
know,
like,
I know.
okay,
I'm
girl,
telling
let me
you,
get in the
I
gym. Let me get this membership.
right now. Like right now. Right. Yes. Serena's okay, here we go. Ooh, I got so much. Mr. Cornelius. He doesn't know that that is a shackle. He doesn't know that that is like
Right.
that is a force field around his neck.
She might have put a root or some voodoo or something on that. You can't be just be taking jewelry from anybody because
Mm-mm. He didn't get it. Like, and then she knows how to get him because she wrapped it up in a saying, a religious saying and everything. But that's why he, I feel like that's why he accepted the necklace. But still,
He is he really not going to though? Because he done fell like went along with everything else. I don't think he would deny the necklace at this point.
oh no, no, I think he took the necklace, but he
Hmm.
knows in his head that she's not the right one. He knows it. It's a tracking necklace. That's hilarious. It's a tracking necklace.
Right.
That's actually really funny. He knows, and she said, "I know that he was really stressed out coming on the show, so I got you this." I'm like, "You're the one that's stressing him out, though. But it's you. That's why he's stressed." Mm-mm.
But that necklace, he first of all, don't it look like a scene out of a movie where it is supposed to be the female that's putting on the necklace? First of all,
Right, right.
that's what's weird. It's like it just looks like it don't look right. First of all, because that should have been Camille. First of all, making that face or putting on the necklace. And it was like the whole speech, this means that we are through thick and thin, we always gonna work things out. And the Bible says, I was like, girl, it's been 49 hours. Please knock it off. Like, what could y'all possibly have been through besides the arguments that you draw up?
There you
Like,
go.
those
That's what I'm
aren't real
saying.
issues. Like, you are just, when you come up with these attitudes, you mad in the car because he didn't answer Zadia's question fast enough. Like, that's not really going through thick and thin or whatever. But I agree with Dante. Dante was spot on with them. He said this seems like a forced situationship, and that's what it seems like because Cornelius just being a yes man to everything. So it's like it feels like Camille's the only one in this, and I'm just waiting for Cornelius to say I do too, or I don't know, to blink. Not, I don't know.
So wait, where's the but just like you just said, where is the reciprocation? She is buying him the necklace. She is making all of these plans. She's got them sharing a room and moving in together, and she's the one walking down the aisle, and he's just going along with it, accepting it and smiling and everything. But he does bring her flowers. We found that like every time he sees this woman, he's got a bouquet of flowers in her hand. We're about to see that in the next scene, but it's like that she's the one that's dating him, and so what, is she the one that's going to get down on one knee? Like, stop it. Mm-mm. They're not even committed. Why buy anything for another person too much too soon? It's too much too soon, and he knows it. In his head he knows it is too
Yeah, he knows it, and
soon.
it's just to me it's unnecessary because where he gonna go? He ain't got nowhere. It's like it's not even like he's gonna take this necklace and have anything to compare it to. There's no other competition. You don't let everybody know you'll f them up if they talk to him, breathe near him, try to send him home. So I
Let's
don't
speak
understand what
on the
the
fact that
necklace
she
is
said,
supposed
"I should have put my initials in it. Now you're mine. Now you need to wear it all the time." And that's the thing. Like, she gave you this little, it's supposed to be a gesture of her love and appreciation, but now you have to constantly be showing this symbol of her love. Like, what are you doing? This scene, I love this, the prayer scene, because this does, now this is what looks like a scene out of a movie. This looks like, uh-oh, what's about to happen? This looks like, and that's interesting. It looks like, did Aisha, she's like in a corner, she had to slip her
She
in
was
there.
ready the whole time. Like,
Yep. Mm-hmm. Wait, what's the next scene before I go to the next one? Okay, so we about to take, okay. So Miss Camille loves to say these little things, these little jabs. She loves to just start talking. Well, you ain't got, you fine, boo. You ain't got nowhere to go, or you ain't going nowhere. Some people, see y'all at the reunion. It's just I'll see y'all at the reunion. And Zadia wasn't saying anything at first. Then all of a sudden, she starts defending her friend, right? Now, Aisha, all Aisha is saying is that's not fair. Cornelius, he only has one connection, and you, oh gosh, there's that face again. Um, but you keep saying, "Oh well, you're fine. He ain't got no. He's not going nowhere. He's fine. He's fine. That's my boo." So then here's Miss Camille saying, "I'll fuck y'all up." What? Yes, that's the full word. I said the whole thing, y'all. So why was that okay? And did you see Camille? Not Camille. Did you see Cornelius's face when she said it? He
Oh,
was
I
like,
forgot to add in his picture.
"Stop,
He had that teacup and he said, "Child."
stop talking like that. What are you doing? Say,
Why is your back arched? Stop it.
tell your woman to act right. Like, what is you doing?"
Oh,
So, and I appreciate Aisha. She speaks up for herself. She's not going to sit there and let y'all run all over,
yeah.
because those two girls run all over everybody.
But Aishi, what is it? Aisha is
Aisha,
about that life. Like, she's not the girl you want to start something with. They think it's funny. They think it's being catty and all this other stuff. But no, Aisha will throw them hands. Aisha will
yeah.
make sure she'll stop you in your track. So these girls are messing with the wrong ones. Y'all want to keep it cute. Aisha ain't afraid to get ugly. So they
And
need
like
to
you
watch
said,
who they're picking on.
um,
That little Kiki stuff might work with Sydney, but with Aisha, she will handle it. So I'm like,
I'm
they
just
were
gonna.
just so it was just so high schoolish. It was just like, what are you trying to get out of this? Like, I don't get it. Like, even in Zadia was saying she doesn't make sense. Well, Zadia, you don't make sense either. Like, nothing she was saying was making sense. So like, what, like, how are you gonna say that's why you were going at her? No, y'all were poking the bear. Y'all are being a mean girls. Like, it was disgusting.
It was disgusting, and Zadia speaking up for her. When and then I feel like when Camille saw Cornelius's face and that he didn't like it, that's when she started doing this. "Mm." That's when she started doing this thing like calm down. I was like, "What are you
Mhm.
doing?" And you started it. Zadia stepped in to save your butt, and now you acting like you're the peacemaker. No, it don't work that way. And then yeah, was she from the Bronx? Aisha, did you
Yeah.
really think that you're gonna sit there and call this girl a hater? And she's like, "There ain't no hater bone in me. If I got an opinion, I want to state my opinion and not have y'all talk about me. Like, it's not okay."
Mhm.
And I appreciate that. She was like, "You're not gonna let me, you're not going to just walk all over me. I'm not the one." And more of them need to do that. More of them need to do that. I do want to talk about the fact that, and I do have to applaud Phil and even Dante. Dante did try, but Phil was the one that actually got her and stood her up. Dante came over there too, at
But
the table.
did you notice the difference?
I
Look
did.
at the two men standing here, and where were Cornelius and Naeem?
That's exactly what I was about to say. That's exactly. But Mr. Cornelius, whose women did start it, Cornelius and Naeem, they were sitting there. Stop it. Stop it. Stop talking like that.
No,
Stop.
there's this is a red flag. I just think I just picked up this is a red. They didn't say nothing, and I was like, wow.
Up. Speak up. Don't let. And so they went and they, because they knew that Zadia wasn't going to stop. So they picked up so that he said, "Let me pull her out of here because she is from the Bronx and you don't play with her and she will speak up for herself and she's going to defend herself." I don't blame her one bit, one bit. Um, but did you see the way he, like, "Let me usher her out of here"? That is a man. That's a leader. I'm sorry. He is. That's good. Cornelius and Naeem sitting there. sitting there, and Naeem, you my boy. Like, what are you doing? I was just like, and but him saying, I don't like all of the yelling and the cattiness. That's a red flag to me. And I hate to say it, but Dante handled it in both ends. He checked on her and went and checked Zadia. Okay, but we're gonna talk about how Zadia framed her check-in, because she thought, oh well, he's not defending me, but he did try to check her. He did. I do appreciate that Dante did like say that's not the way you handle things, then came back to relax with her. He did do good. I think they both did, actually. Phil and I always said Phil, I actually really like Naeem too in the beginning. I said those two are going to be the dark horses that you don't see in the beginning of the show, then all of a sudden they're going to come out of nowhere and have these connections. So, and Phil was the one that definitely did that. Dante, they both was like, come on, get out of there. It's not worth it. And it also speaks to the fact that, remember, in previous episodes, a lot of people were saying that Naeem is a little either naive or what's with the Zadia connection. A lot of the guys were saying, maybe he should, rethink his Zadia connection.
Mm-hmm.
So Naeem is just along for the ride. Yeah. So Cordy, passive. I'm not. Yeah. I was just like, they couldn't say anything. They didn't get permission. That is hilarious, Harlem. That is
They
hilarious.
could not get permission. That's terrible.
Cornelius can't even help himself. How could he help Aisha? That's true.
No, he wasn't supposed to help Aisha. He was supposed to go to Camille because
He was
that's
supposed
his
to go to Camille,
connection
right?
that
And
was
see,
acting up. Like
she
Naeem
did.
should have went to Zadia, Cornelia should have went to Camille. But they both just sat there and then went in their confessional and said that what they were doing was a red flag. But they didn't say, like, they didn't address neither one of them.
He said, "Stop talking like that. Stop it. Stop it." That's what he did. I was like, "What are you doing?"
Cornelia sat there with his teacup and said, "Child."
Know what though? I do believe that Phil is more of a leader than Cornelius, and that's what we're doing this house. So we're comparing, like, compared the two. He literally grabbed her by the hand and he said, come on, it's not worth it." And he pulled her out of the situation because it would have got worse. And we don't want two black women fighting. But Zadia kept going and kept going and kept going. And that is kind of poking the bear, because I think that Aisha is probably a really cool chick, but she's also from the Bronx and she's not going to play with you for too long. So I do appreciate that these guys, and you said, don't be calling me names. That's not okay. I appreciate that she did that. Okay.
Yes. Did you see those silk PJs? I was staring at them PJs like, where he get them from? I want
The
some.
Hugh Hefner of it all. The Hugh Hefner of it all. I said, what is this? The black Hugh Hefner?
Listen,
Those
I
had
was not
birds on them.
feeling Dante this whole season. When he came out, that little chest showing, I was like, okay,
You were
Dante.
this whole
He
season until now?
No, them silk PJs did it for me. And then when he snatched that little bra over Aisha's head, I said, "Oh, he got the tricks." Okay, like
Mhm.
I like him, but this was really sweet. Listen, a massage is my weakness. Like a massage is only going to end one way for me, but I liked it. It was very I
Right.
like this moment. I just liked it.
I said, let me go get my robe. Like you said. I totally agree. I was like, and I actually liked her cute outfit too. I said, this is good. It looked a little staged, but at the same time, I was like, okay, silk robe with the birds on it. And even and even Phil had to let her go. Phil was like,
Right. Phil's face when he saw Dante.
he said, "You gonna come and take my woman with a silk robe on?" He had to say, "You know what? You got me." He said,
That
"You
did
good."
seem planned because how did he know to bring those PJs to the resort?
Oh
So
yeah.
he must have been planning to rub on somebody. So I don't know.
And when he saw that Zaria was acting up, he said, "Okay, I'm done." And he said, let me give her a massage." They're like, yeah, he said that this whole time they've been talking on the phone, but they have never had like the in-person conversation. So this was an opportunity for them to actually get to know each other in person. And he made sure and did that. Yeah. So, okay, Mr. Dante, and you know he got some moves. We know he got some
That's
moves.
how you got all them
I
babies.
was about
Yeah.
to say he got three baby mamas. Like he know he got some moves. He know he got some moves.
Mhm.
Okay, Mr. Nephew Tommy. This is
I I will say a lot of people applauded nephew Tommy for when he kind of cut Aisha off and was like, "We're not going to do that. You stop that. We're going to talk about connections and connections only." And I felt like he was trying to diffuse a possible fight from happening, which is good. But at the same time, I felt like there needed to be some accountability, some because just shutting her down and telling her to be quiet, that doesn't solve the issue. So I feel like there
are you
should
talking
have
about Camille
been,
or Sadia? Are you talking about
yeah,
Camille?
from both of them,
Mhm.
from all of them kind of being against her. And the fact that they were trying to come at Aisha for calling them aggressive, I was like, she could have said a lot worse. Like,
But I also think that remember last episode, was it last episode where, or the episode before last, where she and had to be, she kept making those facial expression when they kept putting Cornelius on the chopping block. Uh,
Mhm.
so that, yeah, 2 episodes ago, and he said, "You gonna fix your face? You just gonna fix your face." I just think that you're right. Some of that might have been cut. He may have said more, but he needs to say something. And honestly, the sad thing is, it is aggressive when, in one, you call yourselves the Brown Girl Squad. That means we're all brown girls. First of all,
Mhm.
that means you're cutting out, the three of you are cutting out the other chocolate women on there, and then you say something like, I'll f you up if you cut my man out of the show. That gives the other women the impression that that you're going to fight or something's going to happen if you go against me. That is a, I'm sorry, I'm sure that there's another word. People in the chat give me another word for aggressive, but I don't like that she said she went there and she presents that way. You can't present that way. Don't give the impression that you gonna mess me up if I, or want to fight me if I go against you. That's not right. And so that does give the other women an aggressive vibe. That does, and then you get mad because I call you aggressive, but then you coming at me like that. So I'm sorry, but I don't blame Aisha for speaking up. I don't blame her. So Sharon, you said that I didn't like when Tommy cut the ladies off. Yes, get to the point of the men, but come back to the ladies' issues. I also wonder if, I bet you these guys, they don't, when they get into the deliberation room, it's not a lot of this back and forth. You understand what I'm saying? The only thing that they might talk about is the Camille of it all. And then Walter, remember Walter cut that short. He said, take Camille out of it. So I wonder if there's probably not a lot of that. You can't, if he didn't cut him off, how else could he have handled it? He's like, okay, you guys, because it probably did start to get a little bit more heated, like it did the night before. Another word for for aggressive, Camille and Zadia, right? I don't, we don't like calling black women aggressive because we know that's a trigger word, but at the same time, it's one thing. You can't just say I'll fuck you up if you cut my man out of here. Like, so if I go again do something that you don't like, then you're gonna beat me up. No, that's aggressive. How else am I supposed to react? So, mm,
I
yeah.
just see like neither one of them, Camille or Zadia, being accountable for the things that they're saying and doing. And then to get on Instagram and blame editing and all this stuff, or it's like, no, this isn't editing, and you're now they're throwing out subliminals and stuff like that, and I'm just
It's
like
not all editing. It's not
yeah.
all editing. It can't. They edit what they give you. It's just not what you give them. It's not all editing. Now, there's some of it is editing. They can
Mhm.
create a story or give create a storyline from from what you give them, but it's not all editing.
Right. So that's the only show I could get a Naeem, and it just happened to have a pool.
I
But
kind of want to go back a little. Well, we're gonna go. We're gonna go to. Well, let's go to this, and then I'm gonna go back a little to this deliberation room. But
mhm.
so Naeem and Zadia, first of all, Naeem just does give me a sense of. The word that comes to my mind is peace. Um, but I do think that he really
Mhm.
wants to make a connection. But I rewatched the episode, I guess it was last week's episode, where his ex-girlfriend kept saying, well, why? Because she has a fat ass. Like his ex-girlfriend kept saying stuff like that. And I said, I wonder, does he constantly get mixed up with the wrong women or not the type of women for him? You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Because his girlfriend kept saying stuff like that, or ex-girlfriend. And a lot of you guys were saying that that girl wants to be the next girlfriend. His ex-girlfriend wants to be the next one. And we know that him and Zaria, they just look like friends. They don't look like an actual love connection or even an actual making doing anything more. Did you get the impression that they were building on anything?
I think that I think Zadia is very go with the flow. So in a sense, she might need someone to lead in the sense of telling us where we're going. And I feel like with Naeem, that's what she's waiting for. Like we keep hearing her say, like, I'm trying to get like more out of him as far as like where we're going with this. And to be honest, I don't know. I don't know with Zadia. I don't know with her or Dante because we kind of saw her like brush Dante off. He greeted her when they first got to the retreat and came to her room, and she was just kind of like, like I'm focusing on Naeem, and we'll see later next week that she's like upset about that because it backfired. Because she put kind of, it seems like this episode she focused a lot on Naeem. I agree with the ladies. He seems very surface level, almost like Orion from Married at First Sight. He reminds me of the dry eyes guy with the eye drops, and he did the commercial like dry eyes, and you put the little eye drops in your eye. That's what he like. He's just so dry and so monotone. Like I definitely feel part of me feels like in the deliberation, the ladies were getting back at Zadia for her childish behavior, but at the same time, the things they were saying were very valid. Like there's really nothing there. Even like all their dates they've shown us, it's like, what are they even talking about? Like I don't get where this conversation is going. But again, I think Zadia will work with anyone. The connection might be there, but she's so go with the flow. I think she'll just go with anyone at this point. But Naeem, yeah, I what they were saying was very valid. It's just nothing there.
I agree that what they were saying is valid. It seems like, and the scene at the pool was the other scene that they had. It just seemed like a nice, simple conversation. Like, oh, let me hang out next with my friend at the pool. It didn't seem like, oh, let's make a love connection. Like I'll be honest, like Frank and Sydney. Frank was trying to kiss her at the pool, and she was eyeing Phil across the pool. So it didn't seem like that. It didn't give me any type of, even though that was just a flirtation and that's not going anywhere either, but at least we got something. I just didn't get that with them too. So I just don't see that with them. He's just very reserved, and he didn't he and honestly, I believe that he also did not like her attitude and how she acted with Aisha, how she acted at the table. So that also made him pull back. I believe that too. I believe that he's not that type of person, and that gave him cause for pause a little bit. Oh, this just okay. I'm gonna be straight. I'm gonna go straight. Ask you question. Did you believe the tears?
No, I was so annoyed because
Annoyed.
you spent this whole season saying this is your man. If you talk to him, you better not talk to him, blah, blah, blah. So if this is your man and he's being sent home off the show, like he's been being eliminated off the show, what does it matter? Because you could just call him and say, hey, I'm going to be over in 5 minutes, and we continue from there. So this is what makes me think, is this all for the show? Because what would it really matter if he went home? That doesn't mean your connection has to stop or you can't talk to him anymore. So I felt like the tears, it was just a whole scene. And then his, I almost had a Camille, his tail sitting there talking about, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do
He
that,
said
don't
it
do.
like
I was like,
10
if you
times.
don't shut up, like
Don't do that. Don't do that. Like he was trying to hold her tears back. What are you doing? He said it several times.
like they both acting at this point. It
Yes.
was ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I didn't believe the tears either. And she couldn't even get a word out. Like she really, really pulled this off. Um yeah, I just didn't believe it. I did He brings flowers to her every time, like every time. And I just didn't believe it. I didn't believe it. So I just
Mhm.
think this is just like High Vibe said, just a bad actress. Yeah, she wanted to be one of the final couples. And what's okay? So we got a couple things to talk about because we skipped some things. Um,
Okay.
the scene at the table
Mm-hmm.
when he brought her the flowers and she sat next to him, and he said, "Oh no, I'm sorry." She said, "Sit across from me." She said, "Don't you want to sit across from me?" He said, "You want me to sit across from you?" Yeah, so I can look at you. I why did, and then my thing is, I was like, could you at least be, kind of finesse it a little bit? It just looks so. And you guys have been calling him passive. I'm not going to call him what y'all think want me to call him. I'm not going to do it. But um, I'm just like, stand up for yourself. Why didn't you say, well, I'm already sitting down now. Why don't you sit over there or something? But he brought the flowers. I didn't even say, but this could have been edited out, or we just didn't hear it. When he brought the flowers, did she say thank you? Nothing. I just was like, wow.
It did seem very chopped up. I want to get into Kimberly Review's comment. She said, I would be her too. Camille really wanted to make it to the end. But if you're there for a genuine connection, what does it matter if you found your person? Like if you're claiming this person is yours and saying this is the person you want to make it work with, it doesn't matter if you make it to the end. Just continue out throughout the rest of the show and then continue your connection. So that's what makes me think they're both on some acting type of stuff, because we already know Cornelius is an actor, model, rainbow body paint artist. So
He didn't put makeup on his body himself. Somebody did it for him. But besides that, but I actually want to go to this house's comment. I'm like, then you should just leave. If you're gonna tell and they knew to cut the show because they're like, so you can tune in next week to see who's gonna go and who's gonna stay. I'm like, if you cut Cornelius, what Camille, just go home. Just go home. But like we said a couple weeks ago, Camille, unfortunately, is the peanut butter. She's the jelly. She's the bread. She's the plate, the napkins, everything. So, like, with that's the whole. Honestly, that's the drama of the show. But
Mhm.
if he gets cut, then she should get cut. Then she should go home because there's no other connections there. Yeah, there's no other connections there.
Right.
So, but the scene with, and everybody's like, "Aren't you embarrassed?" Like the scene where at the table where he asked, where she didn't ask, she told him, "Go sit across from me." She was very, she was very demanding at that point. Just go. I was like, wow, you don't even hear yourself, do you? Um, that scene, and then so I want to go back to Zadia. Zadia, the after Zadia, and what's his name? Dante. Their conversation.
Mhm.
We touched on it a little bit, but you said so. Dante. So no, Kia was saying that he was trying to check her. He was checking her. He
He
was like,
did. He tried to, and she made it clear she wasn't. They both of them, her and Camille, are making it very clear they don't want no leader or nothing in a relationship. They want to be wearing the pants, and it's just emasculating at this point. Like, how can you say you want marriage, you want to walk down the aisle, and you just like, I just, ooh, God, sorry, my words are jumbled because I'm just so irritated. It was just irritating to watch because even her attitude with that, well, what are you talking about? What do you mean? What do you like? Well, she wasn't making sense. Well, why does that give you permission to act like a 5-year old? Like, what are you? It didn't make any sense to me.
and the sad thing is, she didn't even understand what he was trying to say. He was saying,
Mhm.
he literally picked up a fork and said, "This is you. This is you." She say something, and you just keep poking and keep poking and keep poking. And what he was trying to say is, when you guys get combative like that, nobody hears you, right? So
Right.
instead of her understanding and deep it, what you understand what he's saying, then you get offended and mad at him and saying, "Well, it's clear that he's on her side. He's taking her side." I said, "You are, like you said, just acting like a child. Like you really don't understand what he's saying, and you could care less. And you're offended, and um your confidence is shaken. Now
Yeah.
you hurt your feelings." Hmm.
But like Zadia, I've realized she is not a good listener.
At
She
all.
internalizes everything. If you look, it seems like she was still on the same tip from the deliberation when Aisha told her she needs to shrink. And first of all, Aisha, Tasia, they weren't even talking to her.
Right.
They never said her name. And if you were really listening to the conversation, they were actually talking about the men. But she made it like the ladies were ganging up on her. Then she gets to this table and she's still on that same tip. Like, you told me I have too many options. It was like she was coming from that place. Like, she is still
He's still mad.
irritated by that. And it's like, nobody's even thinking about that. And first of all, they weren't even saying that. So I just think she it's just not gonna work with someone like Dante. I think she'll make it with someone like Naeem. Cause like they said, he's not really present. He ain't listening to half the stuff she says anyway.
Mm-mm.
So they can ride off to the sunset and just go in whatever direction the car goes because she's not a good listener and she's just very immature.
But and then at the end, it was so, but you could tell that she wasn't listening because she said, "Thanks, coach. Thanks for the coaching, coach." I said, "Wow, okay. Thanks for the coaching." So you really are just mad because, and so she's looking at Aisha like competition. Not only is he picking someone else, but he's picking somebody that you look at as competition that you just got into a fight with. So she's just in her feelings. She's in her feelings the whole time. And but I want to get into this deliberation. So
Mm-hmm.
Sydney's saying Frank's Bay. Frank's Bay to me, and she said, "I love Frank. Frank's Bay." But then you're side eyeing Phil out of the corner of your eye. I was like, wait, Frank is babe, but you're side eyeing Phil. And I really think that Miss Sydney, I know that a lot of people in the chat have an idea, have their own preconceived notions of what Sydney is doing, but I think that she is strategy. I think she is strategizing. I think that she's telling everybody to don't mess with me on Frank because me and Frank got something, and don't have to even pay attention to me because I am working on Frank, and the whole time she is messing with Phil's mind because Phil has got Shiloh right there. It was Shiloh, Aisha, and Tasia. Unfortunately, our girl Tasia is gone. So now Tasia is gone. So Aisha has got Dante, and other people are still looking at Miss Aisha. And so now she can kind of move in on Phil a little bit. I think that she's playing
I
strategy.
want to touch a little bit on Phil because I feel like he might be playing all these girls. I'm starting to get the feeling that he just trying to sleep with somebody or everybody. So because the if you I it didn't add to the slide or delete it, whatever happened. But the whole I don't know if you picked up on the conversation of Phil and Shiloh at the pool, and he starts saying he was so joking, like she's trying to have a serious conversation with you about where this is going, and like you're blowing her off in a sense, and she's like, well, do you have any strong connections here? Hell no. Oh, I'm just joking. And I'm like, why are you like, this is not the time for that. And then I forget, oh, I have to pull it up. But he said something like, you already know what it is. You already know what we got. Like, he's not going to
To say
kind
the
of
words.
satisfy, like, or whatever they call it.
Um, uh, um, words of affirmation. She needs a little
Yes.
bit of, she needs a little bit of yeah, she needs to let she needs to be let it she needs for him to let it be known she wants to hear it. She really wants to hear it. And at that moment, at least at that moment, she wanted to hear it. And he didn't
Mhm.
give it to her. He was still playing around. He was still playing games.
Right.
So, yeah, Shiloh, because honestly, because I think that Shiloh might be one person that's actually trying to make those connections. Um, I think that just like her and maybe a little bit of Naeem, she does probably come off kind of boring or not. And I because so they probably got plenty of footage of her, but I think
Mhm.
she's probably somebody that's trying to like really likes Phil, sticking with Phil, and really likes to make those connections. Um, and
I want to hit on something real quick.
I love the fact that she does a little bit of hair color. She's like, I was like, okay, she tries to mix it up. What were you saying?
I don't like it, but I
Y'all were loving that blonde hair of Aisha's before.
yes, because it's her whole head and it's an actual hair color. When you just got spots of blue and purple
That's
just sitting on your head, it just looks childish. I am like, you are not 14 anymore. Like, please don't just wash that out. Wash it out because it's
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Stop sharing.
but I what was I saying? Aisha and Frank, what happened? That's what I hope whenever if they do get eliminated, that's what I want to know. What happened with those two? Because he was laying it on thick at that pool table, and then we just stopped seeing them. They stopped mentioning each other. So with them, I'm like, what happened? Are y'all just not together anymore? Like, was there an argument, disagreement? Like, that's what I want to know. What happened? What happened with Aisha and Frank?
Sydney happened with Aisha and Frank. If you got somebody that, especially a guy, if he's got somebody that is a sure thing and that he knows that, and we've all like, they've been kissing on the mouth. Y'all have all been saying, and me been thinking about it, and thinking it included, that they've probably already done something. Why? Why would he mess with Shiloh? Why? I mean, not Shiloh. Aisha. And remember, after the first pool party when Aisha did, or not when Aisha came and they had the little party after the after party, and he saw Aisha talking to Sean. He wasn't he the one sitting in the corner saying, I see Aisha over there talking to Sean,
He
and
did say that, and then we just didn't see them no more. And my whole thing is like, you see, like, I don't know if he was love bombing or what you want to call it, but he was laying it on very, very thick and acting like he had really serious intentions with her. So my whole thing is like, are you just leading on Moomin and Sydney? And like, are you doing the same thing with them that you did with Aisha? Are you staring them in the face, naming all their kids and everything they do? And like, are you doing that with them too? Because now I'm starting to think it's, I don't know, it's just weird.
I think that Sydney happened to like he had that one date. They probably talked on the phone a little bit more, and then
Mhm.
things transpired, things started to happen, and then Sydney came in. And it's like I've known Frank from the nightlife and this, that, and the other, and they had an actual connection, and then Aisha started making other leeway or headway with other guys. I think that's what happened. I think that everybody and their mama said that the way Frank and Sydney have related to each other, they've done more than just talked on the phone. So why would he even mess with
Definitely.
Aisha? Aisha ain't doing that just yet. So at least that we know of. So or that's just not how she comes off. So why would
But
Sydney's a sure thing. I should happen to Sydney happened to him.
I
So
want to add that he kind of fell back from Aisha after Sydney was added to the show. And some people kind of felt like they came in, Sydney and Frank already knew each other, they already had something going on before. So that might be true because why just cut off Aisha?
that's what
And
I'm
then, yeah.
that Sydney happened. That's what happened. That's what I think anyway. That that they didn't he didn't go back until after that pool party. That's what happened. What?
Mimi said Frank has those suction lips. I thought she said cups. I was like, what suction cups?
He's got big soup cooler lips. He's got them big soup cooler lips. Yeah, I think that that's what happened. I don't think, and I don't know. I kind of liked Aisha and Phil. I liked them together, but now looking at Dante and Aisha, I'm like, okay, I see that. I see that. And this is another thing we didn't talk about. They're seen at the in the kitchen at the refrigerator. She was like, my ring is a size 7 because the way
I love it.
I did
Yeah.
too. I did too. I was like, okay. She said, my and him and that. I was like, he gives me not just the towel in his head, but the he's got small eyes. I said he got them Egyptian looks that them just like
He was looking good this episode. I don't know what happened, but something just
he-
clicked. It
another
switched for
one.
me with Dante. I was like, okay.
First, the bald head was shining, and then the towel on his head, and then the robe.
Them
Misha was
silk
like,
PJs,
wait a
that blue, that navy blue on his skin. I was like, okay.
Yeah, exactly, Kenya. I liked Aisha and Phil. I'm really liking Dante and Aisha now. I am too. For some reason, um, I don't know. I liked their connection, and also I know that they're both from New York. Phil is originally from New York, but I really like Dante and Aisha together for some reason. And Frank just needs to just stick with Sydney. Just stick with it. But I do think the signaling is strategy all the way. She is
Yeah.
looking at all the guys. You think that she's sticking with one guy, but then she's also looking at Walter. She's looking at Dante. She's looking at the whole crew. So you guys think that Sydney's just concentrating on one thing? You were dead wrong. Mm-mm.
That she definitely had some sort of goal or like something she was trying to accomplish by being on this show, and it shows. Because Lil Miss, I call her pre-workout because she just so spunky, and so I'm like, I think she put like one, two, three, four too many scoops in her pre-workout. Now it's just like, bring it down, Sydney.
Yeah,
But
but I think that now she is bringing it down. But I also think there's something wrong with just one of the eyes or something like that. I said, now
girl, why did I notice? I kept waiting for the camera to come to her because
Mhm.
it's like one eye don't open all the way fully,
I-
but she's still beautiful.
no,
She's
no,
still
she's
beautiful.
absolutely beautiful. Sydney, you're
I
beautiful.
noticed that though.
But and I noticed it before, but I didn't know if it was the camera or what, or was it, some people put on their eyelashes like that's why I don't like messing. I know I'm gonna mess up. So I'm like, is it the eyelashes? What am I looking
I
at?
thought it was when she was smiling too hard, or I don't know what it was, but I
I don't
noticed.
know if it was the eyeliner or the eyelashes or what, but I do think it's just, yeah, that's what I think it is. Yeah, I think that Sydney won't decide until the final week, but who is it? So Celery is between Phil and Frank, but Phil needs to stick with Shiloh. He just needs to stop messing with Sydney. Sydney's trying to mess you up. Sydney's trying to just mess your head up and just stick with
I don't
Frank.
think he will. I just pick up from him that he's there only for physical attraction. So I think that's why Shiloh made it so far with him. But that's all I pick up because even that clip they were showing with him and Sydney on their date next week, I was like, calm down. Like, I just don't think he's there for anything serious. I think he might be a great guy. Like, eventually he'll be a great husband for someone, but right now I don't think that's his goal. So I think there's going to be a couple women that feel like brokenhearted because he didn't he's not really going like taking the relationship anywhere. I just think he's trying to get to that very short end goal. Like, I think that's it because I don't see it as far as him having any intention with these women, and he might be a great friend, and I think people are mixing that up with being a great partner for
Mhm.
them.
I think that he is I think that Phil's a good guy. I don't see it just yet, but he could be here just for the show. He could be, wanting to make sure he has that he's there at the end. So I think that if he wants to make sure that he's there at the end, he needs to stick with Shiloh because Sydney, because I just see she's just all strategy. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Just, stick with your strategy. That's what I see. See that she's just doing good strategy. She's like, okay, Frank stay. I love Frank stay. So, what did
The Miss Creative said, Phil
Raina?
is husband material. He just waiting on me.
That's right. Look, Phil is husband material. He's just waiting on Misha. That's it. That's it. I like Phil. I even now Dante, I got a different idea of Dante this final episode. Him sitting down with Sabrina, I didn't get it. I was like, I don't see it. How many other I haven't seen him with anybody else. Have we even seen him with anybody else?
Who?
Dante.
There was Zaria, Sabrina, I guess now Aisha. Um,
I was like, okay, I now remember because I
he went
didn't
on a date with Sydney. He went on a lot of group dates.
okay.
He didn't go on a lot of one-on-one dates.
Now I remember Phil, not Phil. Dante did have the one. Didn't he have a one-on-one with Aisha? Did he have a one-on-one? No, this was their first one-on-one.
Yeah.
This was their first one-on-one, and then he had a conversation with Sabrina. He had a little one-on-one, like a little drinky drink with Zaria. Mm. Okay, so he's been peppering himself throughout the season. So he's just been peppering himself throughout the season, and so now it's time for them to shrink It's time to shrink, y'all. It's time to shrink.
So who is going home next episode? It's
Yes.
supposed to be the women. I really think it's gonna be Zadia. I think that's why she got all up in Dante's face because she kind of put all her eggs in one basket with Naeem. Unless she got to take accountability at that retreat, she did blow Dante off and she was focusing only on Naeem. That backfired. So I think they're gonna send Naeem home. Oh yeah, we didn't even see who went home.
That's
I
what I'm about to
totally
say.
forgot that they
That's what's
ended.
in my head. Like, wait a minute, go on back, go back, Misha. Who do you
But
think
I
is
think they
going?
must be doing a double elimination. I think in the first 10 minutes, we'll see what man goes home. Then at the end, a woman will go home. So
Yes,
I think Naeem is going home at the beginning, Zadia at the end, because she didn't pay attention enough to Dante. She didn't build a connection. And Dante got to see how childish she is. So I think
I think
that's what it is.
yeah. If you guys have all seen now, first of all, y'all, so put in the chat who you think is going home. Okay, so Sharon follow directions, Moomin and Zadia next week. That's interesting. Who do you think is going home from the guys?
I think they'll be in the bottom two.
Oh, they'll
Moon
definitely be on them too.
Moon doesn't have strong connection. She's not anyone's top.
And
So
remember, okay, there was also a breakfast where everybody but uh everybody but Zadia and everybody but Zadia and Camille were there. Were yeah, and they were like, "What a peaceful breakfast! This is such a nice breakfast."
right.
There was a, and I made sure they had the camera pan twice, and I said, "Everybody but those two girls are there." They're like, "Listen, look at how peaceful this is." So the only reason I think it might be Naeem is because he is kind of quiet and they want the drama. And if Cornelia stays, then they still got the drama. They still got the um the Camille and Cornelius of it all. So it would just be kind of process of like trying to keep the show spicy. And Naeem doesn't bring the drama, which is not a hey, I'm not a drama filled. He's like, I'm not a drama filled guy. What did he say to? I don't. I just that's a red flag. That attitude was a red flag for him. So yeah, if Cornelius goes home, then I think that Camille will say, you know what, I'm done and I'm leaving. So that's so I think that would be a
We'll
plus.
see because she does like the attention.
It does. That's very true. Yeah. Yeah.
That is who he
Cornelius is who he is. I have no words for him. So, but if Sydney is eyeing Phil, then Frank may still lean on Moomin. Moomin may be safe because of Frank.
That's a good point.
That's a good point. Because we see in next week's scene that Moomin tries to build with Frank again when she really wasn't doing that. At the resort, was she even well, we didn't see it. She was trying to do the Walter thing at the resort.
Hmm. She was trying to get his energy balanced and leveled out. That's what she I was like, if you don't leave that man alone, she must have said energy like 50 times that episode. I was like, leave that man alone.
Leave him alone. Moomin would have three if she didn't mess up with Walter, Dante. So Walter, Dante, and Frank still want her. That's true. That's true. But Frank, I, mm, I think
I
Frank
never saw a connection with them, but he did. Dante did meet Moomin's friend or something, right?
was that who met the friend? Was it
Dante and Walter.
okay? That's right. It was Dante and Walter. Frank didn't. I don't think that she even sees a connection with Frank. I think that she is grasping at straws. I totally agree with that. She's grasping at straws with Frank. Mm-mm. And she the attitude that she's displaying with Walter. Mm-mm. And she needs to listen. You are your friends. You need to move away from the Zaria and the Camille of it all. Zaria, you got to
You and that Zaria.
I can't stop doing it. I can't stop doing it. But you need to stay because that's not you. That's not you. You can.
She's grasping for straws with everybody. She running after Walter, trying to get his energy balance. And with Frank, she trying to stop him from staring at Sydney the whole time. And I'm like, it's just not here for you. It's just not. Mm-mm.
So you want to revisit which cringy piano scene? The one with the three of with Sabrina. Sabrina was unaffected. She was just like with her wine glass, and she was like, "Yeah, let's play. I'll sit here and play the piano with you. I'll just enjoy the piano. It's cool." And she comes behind him and starts massaging his neck and really, really caressing on him.
Let
And
me see if I can find. I gotta find this song. I swear to y'all, that song was 2 words.
it what was it? Stay right, stay right, stay right, stay right, stay right.
Yeah.
No, I must be tired because I actually can't hold a tune. Like,
And that was not a good moment for her to showcase her vocals because she was saying she was a singer and we've been waiting to hear it. And that's what you hit us with.
stay right.
That's
That's it. And you don't go left. And then she wanted to say, yeah, like this whole weekend, you need to stay right. You need to stay right. Oh, okay.
that
Mm.
was so stupid. Oh my god.
Yes, she just really wanted to, and then she got mad because his energy was off. Because when Camille's around, your energy's off. No, that's not why. That's not it.
He's just not that into you. And
It's just not into you.
I don't know. And that's she Moomin probably has had a lot of those love bombers where well, I feel like she either has had a lot of them or she would be an easy target for them because
Hmm.
they love bomb you and then they withdraw. And Moomin's the type that will keep chasing and trying to figure out, trying to fix and trying to do all this and that. And yeah. So not
She
even
did.
Walter is purposely doing it. He just don't like her no more. And there she is, like, your energy isn't where it was last week. And it's oh my goodness.
But well, it's not that he doesn't like her. He doesn't like that attitude. He's very observant. He observed, hey, I'm sitting here with Sabrina at the piano, and then you want to come over. He was like, y'all funny, and he
Did
was
you see that
trying to be
little scoot
respectful.
they did? It wasn't even a real scoot. Like they did a little play scoot. Like y'all did not want that girl to sit there.
But
Y'all did not have to do the fake scoot.
that's what I was saying earlier. Miss Sabrina saying, "Do you need more room? Do you need more room?" And he was like, "No, you're fine." And he was, but at least Sabrina said something. She was like, "No, you're fine." She was like, because he's like, "I'm not entertaining this girl. I'm not going to entertain her and her coming up behind me." What she could have done was she could have. So what could she have done instead if she wanted Phil's attention or not Phil? What's his name? Walter's attention while he's sitting there with another woman.
She already had her attention. She had her moment. It's just time to you for you to go pour yourself a drink.
Yeah.
Go find some chicken. I don't know. But it wasn't your time to pop back up and try to get some more attention. It just wasn't your time. And he said it right. Like you need to, you have your connections and I hear things about that. So you need I was like, what you hear, Walter? What did you hear? Spill the tea. But let him have his connections too. Like it's as simple as that.
What he said was, I don't get hurt or offended when you have connection with Frank. I'm not upset about that. So you need to not be upset when I'm sitting there with Sabrina. And that's it. And
High Five said that was just a sad moment.
that was a sad moment.
Like Kimberly
Yeah,
said,
that is actually kind of
what
funny.
would
I
have huh?
do wonder because remember, I'd have said that a couple of times
Mm-hmm.
her shows, they
She did
told
say
her to go
that.
back over there and sit between them. So I wonder if, because I don't know if he had started playing the piano at this point, but production might have said, "Go back in there, Frank." I keep calling him every name but his name. Walter's playing the piano. I do wonder about that.
Right.
Mhm. I wonder about that.
That's true.
Mhm. He probably heard highly sexual talking to the guys. Probably did. Moomin, she was saving herself, but I'm a hypersexual. I'm hypersexual.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-mm. Drink some Ciroc. Moomin needed a
High five. I can't.
what is high five saying? Moomin should be trying to check Walter's driver's license to confirm that he's not 56 and not 46. But somebody said earlier that she is 10 years younger. She's 10 years younger than him. She's 10 years younger than him.
That's weird. But I think it's more, it can work, but
It
more
could.
so her mentality. It's not even about age, it's just her mindset, like that he needs to be paying attention to you every 5 seconds for you to feel validated. It's not gonna work with him. So
It's not going to work with him. And I also think that that's not the type of person Cornelius is, because the Black Widow wants every second of every moment of his time. When they were all before the deliberation, she was sitting on his lap. I'm sure that man just sat down to listen to what Tommy said had to say, and she comes over and sits on his lap. Yeah. So this is um she's just doing too much. She's doing too much, and she's following behind the other girls. She's following behind the other girls, and she needs to stop. It's hilarious. She's 10 years younger in human years, 30 years younger in maturity years. Yep,
great point, Monique.
that is a great point. That is a great point. I actually, and I don't care. Sabrina has come a long way, and I don't know that it was that dancer phase could have just been, getting her to the next stage in her life. hmm I do wonder who is going home though. So, in my opinion, I think you guys are right. I agree with you that it's going to be Naeem. I like Naeem, but and I think that him and Zadia are going to be great friends. But he's just, I also feel like sometimes on this show, a lot of these people, when they're done, like they feel like, okay, my time on here is over. So they just kind of physically just pull back. They're not into they're not into the show anymore. And I feel like Naeem just wasn't here for it anymore. What
He's,
you
but
say about this
we
character?
gotta, I know I want like real connections and things like that to come about. But at the same time, it's a show. And if we just look at what he's given this whole season, he don't really add anything to the show. So I think as far as like out of the whole cast, I think he'll be the one to go because he's Mr. Dry Eyes. So he they got to send him home, especially over Camille's only match.
I want Moomin to take that robe out of her nose. Deep sigh is not appealing. Are you saying that rope out of her nose just move? I know she has a nose ring, right? She it's not appealing.
Yeah.
It's just not a match. I think he had a nice conversation about them. They did some trauma bonding about their fathers, but that's it. That's it. Yeah. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Naeem just need to go back to that ex. Like, I'm waiting for him to do an interview. Like, why are you not with the ex? I just really want to know that.
I really want to know that too. So I think that Naeem's going to be going home, and I think you do have a point about Zaria. I think that her time is up too, because her getting in. Oh gosh, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. So you guys, unless it's the juicy stuff, I don't love talking about the previews. Well, no, the only time I did not want to talk about the on Mavs when what's his name, when Rachel called him another name, because I said there is more to that. I said I bet you anything is not as serious, and he just flipped out. I had a feeling, but I really want to talk about her getting in his face. I really want to talk about, ladies, we got to stop this getting in men's faces because they have trauma too. And you think
They
you
have triggers too.
trigger
You're not the
trauma,
only one with a trigger.
absolutely. And you get in this another man's face, or you think, oh, I didn't hit him that hard, and then he hit you back. No, no, they have triggers too. You know, you don't know what you could have, what you do when you trigger somebody like that. So we cannot be getting in men's faces like this. And
I
honestly, this, I feel like this is more showing how extra sensitive she is, and how she's just not able to take, this is not the process for her. If she wants somebody to exclusively pay attention to her and only her, how is that going to help that, and she's on a show where you've got 20 other women, or 10 other women biting for somebody's attention. This is, it's not okay. If this man said, hey, and I will say as well, Dante did pursue her that we saw. When even at that cabin last week, he said, "Hey Zaria, how are you doing? Where's everybody sleeping?" And he said, "Oh, everybody's on the other side." And that's it. She really, I don't know why, but she really put him on the back burner. She said that he did it. And of course, communication is lacking. Communication could be misunderstood. But at the
Mhm.
same time, if you didn't like something this man said to you, if you didn't like how this man was moving, how this man was acting, you'd still never get in another a man's face ever. And then what if he did do something? Then this black man is in handcuffs because he's still whether he just put his hands on you to back you up. No, no, don't do it. And it's not okay. It's not okay. So so I really wanted to talk about that. There's a lot to the preview, but Zadia, you really need to rethink your actions and how you move in certain situations. I'm not saying that you can't be hurt feelings and be mad about certain things and it can't have an emotional effect on you. But ladies, the way we react, we gotta rethink that. We gotta rethink that. Go ahead.
Very true. You got to have respect for the person you're trying to connect with or trying to build a relationship with. If the respect's not there, you don't need to be there either. So, and I feel like not Zadia, Dante was a safe option for her. I feel like the respect was never really there for Dante. He was supposed to be the second, he was supposed to be Liz, okay? He was supposed to be Liz, Naeem was Kyra, but Naeem got sent home. So she was left with the second option, and she treated him like a second option. He got the hint, he moved on. So now you're mad because you're getting kicked off the show because no one wants you
Right.
because of your attitude. But now you're trying to put it on him, and that's not right. And it's not right to get in anyone's face. First of all, this show, there is no reason on this show to get in anyone's face. Even when Aisha was upset, Adia and Camille, there was no reason to get in anyone's face. So this situation next week, you cannot give me any reason. You cannot blame production. You cannot say we don't have a backstory. You're you're emasculating all these men that you're making connections with, and it's disgusting. Like,
It's I'm
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's absolutely disgusting. And Misha said the word that I usually say that word all the time on the men's stand-up panel about emasculating. This emasculating, not only was she standing over him, uh, what do you call it? She, I don't want to say aggressive, but she was standing over him, but she was hitting his face, and then she was cussing at him. She was using language you cannot use to another person and think that it's going to be okay. It's going to go over well. Now, even if you had a what's our friend Michaela constantly saying knee jerk reaction, and what if she did pop off and like smack him? That's not okay. You can't be acting
Mhm.
like that and think that it's that that's the way you should act to another person, especially a man, especially especially a man. So for her to do that and get mad, and the thing is, I don't think that she really liked him. I don't think that she was there for him.
She didn't.
She didn't really like him. She didn't like, one, she didn't like rejection, and she didn't like that he was her real only other connection. That's it. Naeem's gone. Now you don't want to talk to me, and now you're moving on. So it's almost like he was trying to be respectful and say something to her about, hey, I think I'm going to pursue something with Aisha. But she didn't like that. So she gets in his face. Listen, you really didn't like him in the first place. You didn't like him.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, I definitely agree. She's mad. The rejection. We already said she's immature. She internalizes things. She makes everything about herself. And it's like, at some point, you got to say, it was me. Like, this was me or that was me. You can't put everything on him or production or anyone. You, at the retreat, that was your chance to solidify your connection and you blew him off.
Yep. See,
So he, yeah,
and kids, we're so fired up about it. We keep interrupting each other, and we really try not to. But I agree with his point too. I pursued you. I kept pursuing you. I can't keep knocking on the door and no one answering.
right.
I
Hmm.
I said, that is a great analogy. You really did sum it up. You're like, listen, I keep knocking on the door. You're not answering. That's kind of the same thing Sabrina was saying last week. Listen, I keep calling you guys. Nobody's answering except for one person. I'm not going to keep doing this. I deserve better. And I, um, I agree with him. I was like, Zadia, come on. Come on. You know, it's one thing to get fired up with Aisha, with the other ladies, but now you're doing this to a man? What?
Right. It's too much.
Yeah.
It's uncalled for. And I think Zadia and Camille are getting caught up in the whole hype of the show. I think that's why we see this stupid fight between them two and Aisha. And it's like, what are y'all even really upset about? What are y'all even really being catty for? And I think she's trying to one up, or I don't know, but it literally made no sense. Like, so why did you want to stay on the show if you can so easily disrespect him? What were you trying to get out of this anyway? I'm telling y'all, I think she got a workout clothing line because every episode she is in spandex. And I'm like, did you just come from the gym? I get it. She's a trainer, but I high key think she's trying to pitch this gym workout clothing line thing. But I just think back to my point. I just think that, yeah, it was inappropriate. It was unnecessary.
I really wanted to find Kenya's comment because I agree. I've looked at this preview and I'm going to look, we're waiting for next week, but I thought that she was going to mush his face too. I really did. Today was my third time seeing this preview. And I said, is she, and I thought that at one point she was in his face like this, but I said, if she mushes his face, like, girl, you gotta do better. You've got to not.
It was unnecessary.
Totally.
There's no, like, I keep trying to find a reason. There's no validation. There's nothing that validates her being that. You got up out of your seat, bent over, and no.
Yeah.
You trying to force him to change his mind? Like, what was the point of doing that? I don't know.
It was right. You're not going to change his mind acting like that. How is that going to help the situation? Now you really are out of here.
Hmm.
I wonder if she self eliminates. I wonder if and that was she almost pulled it. What's his name? Not Ron. From last week when that guy when he got in Liz's face.
David.
David, when she tried to talk to him, of course she was trying to eliminate him, but It was very. It's just. Oh,
I
she
my whole thing is my whole thing. This show do not pay that much money.
at all.
Sure, it can give you exposure, but you're not making that much money to be acting a fool like this. So what are you really trying to solve? Like,
You know what? I didn't even think about this, Kenya. You're right. Kenya from Cali, she said, I love the immediate karma of Zadia saying Aisha was
yes.
mad because she didn't have any connections and woke up with her man took. Like
You
now,
see Aisha smiling in that deliberation when, because one thing Zadia had to own up to it, like, well, Dante was a connection, but it seems like he is more focused on Aisha, and Aisha had this big old smile. Like, yes, you were so busy being catty and messy. You lost one of your connections. Being dumb. Well, both of them. You lost both of them. You was being catty. So the ladies voted off one of your connections, and then another woman swooped in and took your man. So
yeah, no, I totally agree. This swooping in and taking your man, nope, really? But now you acting like somebody else. Now you acting like your best friend. You're doing too much. I really thought that she was going to mush his face, and we haven't seen the whole scene. So I hope she doesn't. I hope she rethinks the situation. Like, you don't even like him. You don't even like him. You just mad because one, he's picking Aisha, and two, you don't want to be kicked off the show.
right.
Yeah, y'all. This was fun. This was a lot of fun.
Yes. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe. We are here every Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern. So make sure y'all come back next week to talk about this next episode.
Yes, we're gonna break it down some more, everyone. So we got great content coming, and next week CMK will be talking. You're gonna do a year in review. We're gonna do a fun year in review. You got some ideas as to should we do just social media year in review? We might do a verses, like what was the best verses of the year? We don't know. We're gonna do a year in review. We're gonna have a good time next week. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. See you next Sunday.